What if Carl Jung warned that no one is truly your friend until you face this one unsettling truth? Have you ever poured your heart into a friendship, only to feel betrayed by hidden motives or empty promises? You're not alone, Carl Jung, the visionary Swiss psychiatrist, uncovered a haunting reality about human relationships. Behind every smile lies a complex web of personas, shadows, and projections that make authentic friendship incredibly rare. But here's the hope: Carl Jung's wisdom gives you the tools to break free from these illusions and build connections that are real, deep, and lasting. In this video, we'll dive into Carl Jung's groundbreaking insights to reveal why your friendships might feel fake and the one shift that changes everything. Through the story of Alex, an empath who learned to find true friends, you'll discover how to transform your empathy into a beacon of inner strength and authenticity, from shadow work to individuation. This journey of self-discovery will empower you to attract relationships that honor your resilience. Ready to rethink everything you know about friendship? Let's dive into this transformation. Have you ever wondered why your closest friendships sometimes feel hollow, like you're playing a role instead of being yourself? As an empath, you pour your heart into relationships, hoping for authentic connections. But too often, you're left feeling betrayed, drained, or unseen. Carl Jung, the visionary Swiss psychiatrist, uncovered a chilling truth about why this happens. We all wear invisible masks, personas that hide who we really are. In this chapter, we'll dive into Carl Jung's concept of the persona and reveal two critical signs that your friendships might be built on illusion: your unconscious mask and persona, inflation. Through the story of Alex, an empath who learned to see through these masks, we'll explore how these hidden dynamics sabotage your relationships and how self-discovery can set you free. This is where your journey to healing and authenticity begins. Sign 1. Your unconscious mask. Every morning, before you step out into the world, you put on a mask, not one made of fabric, but a psychological one crafted from expectations, social norms, and the need to be liked. Carl Jung called this the persona, a term derived from the Latin word for the masks worn by ancient actors. This mask helps you navigate society, blending into work, family, or friend groups by showing only the parts of yourself that feel acceptable. For empaths, this mask often looks like endless kindness, patience, or selflessness, qualities that make you a magnet for others but hide your true feelings. The problem: you're so used to wearing this mask that you might not even realize it's there. Carl Jung warned that this unconscious mask creates a barrier to authentic connection. When you're always playing the good friend who never complains or prioritizes others' needs, you're not showing your real self. You're showing a curated version designed to avoid conflict or rejection. Friends may love this version of you, but they don't know the real you, the one with doubts, boundaries, or unexpressed desire. And if they don't know you, how can they truly be your friend? Narcissists and inauthentic people thrive on this, sensing your empathy and exploiting your need to maintain the mask. Healing begins when you recognize this persona for what it is: a defense mechanism, not your authentic self. This is the first step towards self-discovery, where you start peeling back the mask to reveal the real you. Sign 2. Persona inflation. What happens when you wear your persona for so long that you forget who you are? Underneath, Carl Jung called this persona inflation. The second sign that your friendships are built on illusion: when your mask becomes your identity, you lose touch with your inner strength and true desires. You might become the always positive friend, suppressing anger or sadness to keep everyone happy, or the reliable one, always saying yes to avoid disappointing others. Over time, this creates transactional relationships, friendships, where you're valued for your performance, not your authenticity. Carl Jung observed that persona inflation makes genuine connection nearly impossible because you're not relating as a whole person, just a polished facade. Friends may praise your kindness or dependability, but they're connecting with your mask, not you. This leaves you feeling lonely, even surrounded by people, because no one sees the real you. Worse, persona inflation attracts friends who expect you to keep up the act. And any hint of your true self, like expressing frustration or setting boundaries, can disrupt the relationship. For empaths, this is a trap. Your empathy makes you skilled at wearing the mask, but it also makes you vulnerable to those who exploit it. Recognizing persona inflation is a wake-up call, sparking the resilience to reclaim your authentic self and build friendships that honor your whole being. A real-life story, Alex's awakening. Let's meet Alex, a 30-year-old graphic designer and empath who always felt like he was performing in his friendships. Growing up, Alex was the nice guy who never said no, always ready to listen or help, even when it drained him. His friends loved his cheerful demeanor, but deep down, Alex felt unseen, like he was playing a role to keep everyone happy. He wore a persona of endless positivity, hiding his struggles with anxiety and his need for personal space, when a close friend, Mia, started taking advantage of his kindness, constantly asking for favors without reciprocating. Alex felt betrayed but didn't know why. Inspired by a podcast on Carl Jung, Alex began exploring the idea of the persona. He realized he'd been wearing an unconscious mask to avoid rejection, always agreeing to plans or suppressing his opinions to keep the peace. This mask made him a target for Mia, who sensed his empathy and relied on his inability to say no. Through journaling, Alex confronted his persona inflation. He saw how his need to be the perfect friend had disconnected him from his authentic self. One day, when Mia asked him to redesign her website for free, Alex paused. Instead of saying yes, he said, "I can't take that on right now." To his surprise, Mia was shocked but respected his boundary. This small act of resilience marked the beginning of Alex's transformation. He wasn't just protecting his energy, he was starting to show his true self, paving the way for healing and deeper connections. The lesson: your mask hides your true friends. Alex's story shows that the persona, your unconscious mask, and persona inflation is the root of why your friendships feel fake. Carl Jung's wisdom reveals that true friendship requires authentic encounter, where you risk showing your unmasked self, flaws and all. For empaths, this is both a challenge and an opportunity. Your empathy makes you prone to hiding behind a mask, but it also gives you the power to connect deeply when you embrace your authenticity. By recognizing your persona, you start the journey of self-discovery, building inner strength to attract friends who see you for who you are, not the role you play. What about you? Have you ever felt like you're wearing a mask in your friendships, hiding your true self to keep the peace? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you're starting to peel back that mask. Stay with us for the next chapter, where we'll uncover the hidden shadow, sabotaging your relationships, and how to face it head-on. You won't want to miss this. What if the biggest threat to your friendships isn't the people around you, but the hidden parts of yourself you refuse to face? As an empath, you've likely felt the sting of betrayal or disappointment in friendships, wondering why things went wrong despite your empathy and effort. Carl Jung, the brilliant Swiss psychiatrist, uncovered a haunting truth. The shadow, the disowned parts of your personality, secretly drives these breakdowns. In this chapter, we'll explore two critical signs that your shadow is sabotaging your relationships: unconscious projection and disowned needs. Through Alex's ongoing journey of self-discovery, we'll see how facing your shadow can spark healing and transformation, helping you build authentic friendships. This is where your resilience becomes a superpower, turning pain into inner strength. Sign 3. Unconscious projection. Carl Jung taught that the shadow is everything you've pushed away, traits, désir, or emotions you don't want to admit, like selfishness, anger, or the need for validation. These disowned parts don't vanish. They operate unconsciously, shaping how you see others through projection. When you dislike a friend for being fake or needy, Carl Jung would ask, what might this say about you often? The qualities that irritate you most in others mirror the shadow aspects you've buried. For empaths, this unconscious projection is a trap. Your empathy makes you hyper-aware of others' flaws, but you may not see that you're projecting your own disowned traits onto them. This projection distorts your friendships. Imagine you're frustrated by a friend's constant need for attention. Carl Jung would suggest this irritation points to your own suppressed need for recognition, one you've hidden to seem selfless. By projecting this need onto your friend, you're not seeing them clearly. You're fighting a part of yourself. This creates tension, misunderstanding, or even conflict. As you react to your shadow rather than the person, narcissists exploit this, sensing your unconscious projection and mirroring back what you want to see, only to betray you later. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward healing. By owning your shadow, you stop blaming others for your inner conflicts, paving the way for authentic connections rooted in self-awareness. Sign 4. Disowned needs. The second sign, your shadow sabotages your friendships is disowned needs the desires you've suppressed to maintain your persona as the perfect friend. As an empath, you might hide your need for space, recognition, or boundaries, believing these make you selfish. Carl Jung warned that these disowned needs don't disappear, they leak out in unhealthy ways, like resentment or passive aggressiveness, poisoning your relationships. When you deny your own needs, you attract friends who take without giving, because your shadow signals that you'll tolerate it. For example, if you suppress your need for respect to seem agreeable, you might end up in one-sided friendships where you feel used. Carl Jung called this a shadow contract, an unspoken agreement where you let others exploit your empathy to avoid facing your own needs. This creates a cycle of disappointment. You give endlessly, hoping for reciprocation, but your friends don't even know what you need because you've hidden it. Breaking this cycle requires shadow work, where you acknowledge and honor your needs without guilt. This act of inner strength transforms your relationships, attracting friends who respect your authenticity and creating space for mutual healing. A real-life story, Alex's shadow awakening. Let's return to Alex, the empathic graphic designer we met in Chapter 1. After realizing his persona made him a target for inauthentic friends like Mia, Alex dove deeper into Carl Jung's teachings. He discovered the shadow, the parts of himself he'd buried, to maintain his nice guy image. One day, while reflecting on his frustration with Mia's constant demands, Alex had an epiphany. He wasn't just annoyed at her, he was projecting his own disowned need for appreciation. Growing up, he'd learned to suppress his desire for recognition, fearing it was selfish. But this need didn't vanish. It showed up as resentment when Mia took him for granted. Using Carl Jung's active imagination technique, Alex visualized his shadow as a neglected part of himself, crying out for respect. In therapy, he explored moments when he felt irritated by friends' behaviors like Mia's neediness or another friend's arrogance, and realized these were mirrors of his own unconscious projection. He was judging them for qualities he refused to see in himself, like his own need for attention or assertiveness. This self-discovery was a turning point. Alex started practicing shadow work by acknowledging these needs. Instead of silently resenting Mia's requests, he began setting boundaries, like saying, "I need some time to focus on my projects." To his surprise, Mia didn't push back. She began respecting him more. This shift wasn't just about Mia. Alex noticed other friendships changing. By honoring his disowned needs, like taking time for himself or asking for support, he attracted friends who valued reciprocity. One friend, Sam, noticed Alex's newfound resilience and opened up about his own struggles, creating a deeper, more authentic bond. Alex's shadow work wasn't easy. It meant facing uncomfortable truths, but it sparked a transformation. He was no longer a doormat for inauthentic friends. He was building relationships rooted in inner strength and mutual respect. The lesson: your shadow holds the key. Alex's story shows that your shadow, through unconscious projection and disowned needs, can sabotage your friendships. But it also holds the key to healing. Carl Jung's wisdom teaches that facing your shadow isn't about becoming perfect. It's about embracing your full complexity, flaws and all. For empaths, this is revolutionary. Your empathy makes you prone to projecting or suppressing needs, but it also gives you the power to connect deeply when you integrate your shadow. By doing shadow work, you stop attracting friends who exploit you and start building authentic relationships that honor your resilience. This is the path to personal growth, where your inner strength shines through. What about you? What hidden need might you be projecting onto your friends? Maybe a desire for respect or space? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you're starting to face your shadow. Stay with us for the next chapter, where we'll reveal the one shift that changes everything, helping you attract true friends who see the real you. You won't want to miss this. What if the key to finding true friends lies in a single, life-changing shift within you? As an empath, you felt the pain of inauthentic friendships, where your empathy was exploited, and your true self was hidden behind masks or buried in shadows. Carl Jung, the visionary Swiss psychiatrist, revealed that there's one pivotal shift that can break this cycle. Individuation, the process of becoming your truest, most whole self. In this chapter, we'll explore two transformative signs that mark this shift: conscious authenticity and integrated wholeness. Through Alex's evolving journey of self-discovery, we'll uncover how this one change can help you attract authentic friends who see and value the real you. This is where your resilience transforms into inner strength, paving the way for healing and personal growth that no inauthentic friend can touch. Sign 5. Conscious authenticity. Carl Jung's concept of individuation is about peeling away the layers of persona and integrating your shadow to live as your authentic self. For empaths, this is the 5th sign of your journey: conscious authenticity. It means choosing to show up as you are, flaws, needs, and all, rather than hiding behind the mask of the perfect friend. This isn't about oversharing or abandoning social grace. It's about being intentional about when and how you reveal your true self. When you embrace conscious authenticity, you stop performing to please others and start honoring your own values, desire, and boundaries. This shift is revolutionary because it changes who you attract. Inauthentic friends, those who thrive on your empathy or expect you to maintain a polished persona, lose interest when you stop playing their game. Carl Jung called this breaking the mutual deception of relationships, where both parties hide behind masks to avoid vulnerability. By choosing authenticity, you signal to the world that you value genuine connection, drawing in friends who respect your inner strength. This act of self-discovery is a form of healing, as it frees you from the exhaustion of pretending and opens the door to relationships rooted in truth. For empaths, conscious authenticity is a shield, protecting your energy while allowing your empathy to shine in a way that fosters real intimacy. Sign 6. Integrated wholeness. The second sign of this shift is integrated wholeness, the state of embracing all parts of yourself. Light and shadow. To become a whole person, Carl Jung taught that individuation isn't about becoming perfect, it's about accepting your complexity, including the parts you once rejected, like anger, ambition, or vulnerability. For empaths, this means balancing your empathy with your needs, allowing you to connect deeply without losing yourself. When you achieve integrated wholeness, you no longer seek friends to fill your inner voids or project your shadow onto others. Instead, you relate to people as a complete, authentic self, creating space for mutual respect and understanding. This wholeness makes you magnetic to true friends because it disrupts the unconscious patterns that fuel fake relationships. Carl Jung described this as a shift from projection-based connections to authentic encounters where both parties see each other clearly, without illusions. Inauthentic friends, especially narcissists, can't manipulate someone who is whole. They rely on your insecurities or disowned needs to control you. By integrating your shadow and honoring your empathy, you build resilience that makes you untouchable to their tactics. This is the heart of transformation. You stop attracting people who exploit you and start drawing in those who value your authentic self. Creating friendships that are a source of healing and personal growth. A real-life story. Alex's transformation. Let's return to Alex, the empathic graphic designer we've been following. After recognizing his persona and confronting his shadow, Alex was ready for the next step, individuation. He realized that his one-sided friendships, like the one with Mia, stemmed from his fear of showing his true self. He'd been hiding his needs, time alone, respect, or even his creative ambitions to keep friends happy. Inspired by Carl Jung's teachings, Alex began practicing conscious authenticity. He started small when a friend invited him to a party he didn't want to attend. He said, "Thanks, but I need some downtime this weekend." Instead of feeling guilty, he felt liberated. To his surprise, his friend respected his honesty, and their conversations became more genuine. This shift led Alex to integrated wholeness. Through journaling and therapy, he embraced his shadow, his need for recognition, his occasional resentment, and his fear of rejection. He stopped projecting these onto others, like blaming Mia for his frustration, when it was really about his unexpressed needs. One day, when Mia asked for another favor, Alex practiced conscious authenticity by saying, "I value our friendship, but I can't keep taking on extra work." Mia was taken aback but nodded. And over time, their dynamic shifted. She began treating him as an equal, not a resource. Alex's inner strength was growing, and he noticed a ripple effect. New friends, like Sam, were drawn to his honesty, sharing their own struggles and creating a bond rooted in authenticity. Alex's transformation wasn't just personal, it changed his entire social circle. By living as his whole self, he attracted people who valued him for who he was, not what he did for them. He started a creative project, sharing his designs online, and found a community of like-minded people who celebrated his authentic self. His resilience shone through as he let go of inauthentic friends without fear, knowing that true connections would come. Alex's journey of individuation was a testament to Carl Jung's wisdom. By embracing integrated wholeness, he wasn't just finding friends, he was creating a life of healing and personal growth. The lesson: your wholeness attracts true friends. Alex's story shows that individuation through conscious authenticity and integrated wholeness is the one shift that changes everything. Carl Jung's insight reveals that authentic friendships are possible when you stop hiding behind masks or projecting your shadow. For empaths, This is a game changer. Your empathy no longer makes you a target for exploitation. It becomes a gift that fosters deep, mutual connection. By embracing your inner strength, you attract friends who see and value the real you, creating relationships that are a source of healing and transformation. This is where your resilience becomes a beacon, lighting the way to true friendship. What about you? What would change if you showed your authentic self to your friends, flaws, needs, and all? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you're starting to live more authentically. Stay with us for the next chapter, where we'll share practical tools to build true friendships that honor your wholeness. You won't want to miss this. What if you could turn your empathy into a magnet for true friends who see and value the real you as an empath? You've learned that your persona and shadow can trap you in inauthentic friendships. But through individuation, you've started embracing your authentic self. Now, it's time to put this wisdom into action. In this chapter, we'll explore 4 practical tools inspired by Carl Jung's transformative teachings to help you build authentic friendships. The mirror technique. Withdrawal of projection. Authentic, yes. And emotional discernment. Through Alex's journey of self-discovery, we'll see how these tools empower you to attract true friends while protecting your empathy. These are your keys to healing, resilience, and personal growth, ensuring that inauthentic connections no longer drain you. Tool 1. The mirror technique. Carl Jung taught that others act as mirrors, reflecting parts of our shadow we've denied. The mirror technique is about using this insight to deepen your self-awareness and build stronger friendships. When a friend's behavior like arrogance or neediness triggers you, pause and ask, what part of me does this reflect? This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about recognizing that their actions highlight your own disowned traits, like a suppressed need for respect or attention. By seeing this, you stop reacting impulsively and start responding with conscious empathy, fostering connections based on understanding rather than conflict. For Alex, the empathic graphic designer, the mirror technique was a revelation. When his friend Mia's constant demands irritated him, he used Carl Jung's advice to reflect, why does this bother me so much? Through journaling, Alex realized Mia's behavior mirrored his own unacknowledged need for appreciation, which he'd buried to seem selfless. Instead of lashing out, he addressed it calmly, saying, I feel like my efforts aren't being valued. This opened an honest conversation, strengthening their bond. The mirror technique helped Alex turn triggers into opportunities for self-discovery, building inner strength to create authentic friendships. Tool 2. Withdrawal of projection. Narcissists and inauthentic friends thrive on the projections you cast onto them, your unconscious belief that they'll meet your unmet needs, like validation or security. Carl Jung's withdrawal of projection technique flips this dynamic. When you catch yourself thinking, if they'd just be more supportive, I'd feel better. Stop and ask, what do I need to give myself? This shifts your focus from fixing others to healing yourself, breaking the cycle of dependency on their behavior. Alex applied this when he felt let down by friends who didn't reciprocate his empathy. He used to think, if Mia would just appreciate me, I'd be okay. But Carl Jung's wisdom helped him see this as a projection of his own need for self-worth. In therapy, he asked, how can I value myself? He started celebrating his own achievements, like sharing his designs online. Instead of seeking Mia's approval, by withdrawing his projections, Alex became less reactive, and his friends began respecting him more. This tool sparked a transformation, empowering him to build friendships based on authenticity rather than neediness. Tool 3. Authentic yes. Saying yes to everyone can feel like second nature for empaths, but it often leads to resentment and inauthentic connections. Carl Jung's authentic yes is about choosing relationships and commitments that align with your true values and inner strength. It's not about being selfish. It's about honoring your authenticity by saying yes only to what feels right. This means setting boundaries with friends who drain you and investing in those who respect your whole self. Alex struggled with this at first. He feared saying no to friends' requests would make him seem uncaring. But inspired by Carl Jung, he began practicing authentic yes. When a friend asked him to join a project that didn't excite him, Alex said, "I'm focusing on my own work right now, but let's catch up soon." His tone was kind, but firm, and the friend appreciated his honesty. This shift allowed Alex to prioritize relationships that felt mutual, fostering healing by protecting his energy. The authentic yes is a radical act of resilience, ensuring your friendships reflect your true self. Tool 4. Emotional discernment. Carl Jung's final tool, emotional discernment, is about using your empathy to read the true motives behind others' actions without absorbing their emotions. Like a psychological radar, it helps you distinguish between friends who genuinely care and those who exploit your kindness. When a friend shares their struggles, listen with conscious empathy. Validate their feelings, but ask, does this align with their actions? This protects you from being drawn into inauthentic dynamics while maintaining your compassion. Alex mastered emotional discernment over time. When Mia vented about her problems, he used to feel obligated to fix them, leaving him drained. But with practice, he learned to respond differently. "That sounds really tough. How are you handling it?" This validated her feelings without taking on her burden. By discerning her motives, Alex saw that Mia's demands were often about control, not connection. This clarity allowed him to set boundaries while staying kind, strengthening his inner strength. Emotional discernment is a powerful tool for self-discovery, helping empaths navigate friendships with authenticity and confidence. A real-life story. Alex's triumph. Alex's journey with these tools was a game-changer. Using the mirror technique, he turned triggers into insights. Seeing how Mia's demands reflected his own need for appreciation, withdrawal of projection helped him stop seeking validation from friends and start valuing himself. Practicing authentic yes allowed him to say no to draining requests, like redesigning Mia's website for free, and yes to relationships that felt reciprocal, like his growing friendship with Sam. With emotional discernment, Alex learned to spot inauthentic motives, protecting his empathy without shutting down his compassion. The result: Alex's friendships transformed. Mia, sensing his resilience, stopped taking him for granted, and their dynamic became more balanced. New friends, drawn to his authenticity, shared his values and supported his creative dreams. Alex's blog about his self-discovery journey gained traction, inspiring others to set boundaries and seek true connections. His transformation wasn't just about better friendships, it was about living as his whole self, contributing to a ripple effect of healing. Alex's story proves that these tools don't just protect you, they empower you to build a life of personal growth and authentic relationships. The lesson: your empathy is your guide. These 4 tools, the mirror technique, withdrawal of projection, authentic yes, and emotional discernment, are your roadmap to authentic friendships. Carl Jung's teachings show that your empathy isn't a weakness, it's a guide to building connections that honor your inner strength. By practicing these tools, you create healing in your relationships, attracting friends who see you for who you are. This is the path to transformation, where your resilience shines, making inauthentic connections a thing of the past. What about you? Which of these tools will you use to strengthen your friendships? Maybe it's the authentic yes to set boundaries, or emotional discernment to spot true motives. Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you're building authentic connections. Stay with us for the next chapter. where we'll explore how you can become a true friend, inspiring others with your wholeness. You won't want to miss this. What if your journey as an empath could not only transform your friendships, but also inspire a ripple effect of healing in the world? You've learned to peel away your persona, face your shadow, and embrace individuation to build authentic friendships. But as an empath, your transformation doesn't stop with you, it extends outward, making you a true friend who uplifts others. In this final chapter, we'll explore two profound signs of your evolution, embodying authentic friendship and healing the collective unconscious. Through Alex's inspiring story and Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, we'll see how your resilience and empathy can create connections that transcend superficiality, fostering personal growth and healing for yourself and those around you. This is where your inner strength becomes a beacon, proving that true friends are those who see and honor the real you. Sign 7. Embodying authentic friendship. As an empath who's embraced individuation, you're no longer bound by the masks or projections that once defined your relationships. This is the 7th sign of your journey embodying authentic friendship. Carl Jung taught that authentic connection requires showing up as your whole self, flaws, strengths, and all without fear of rejection. For empaths, this means balancing your empathy with conscious boundaries, offering compassion without sacrificing your inner strength. When you live authentically, you become a true friend, someone who listens deeply, respects boundaries, and encourages others to be their real selves too. This shift changes the dynamics of your friendships. Instead of absorbing others' emotions or pleasing them to avoid conflict, you model authenticity by being honest about your needs and feelings. This creates a safe space for mutual vulnerability, where friends feel free to drop their own personas. Carl Jung called this an authentic encounter, a rare moment where two people connect as their true selves, free from illusions. As a true friend, your empathy becomes a gift, not a burden, fostering relationships rooted in trust and healing. This act of resilience makes you untouchable to inauthentic people, as they can't manipulate someone who lives with such authenticity. Sign 8. Healing the collective unconscious. Your transformation as an empath doesn't just change your life, it ripples outward, contributing to what Carl Jung called the collective unconscious, the shared psychological space of humanity. This is the 8th sign. By becoming a true friend, you help heal the collective wounds of inauthenticity and disconnection. Carl Jung believed that every person who achieves individuation creates a morphic resonance, a subtle energy that makes it easier for others to find their own wholeness. As an empath, your healing journey inspires others to embrace their authentic selves, creating a ripple effect that challenges a world often dominated by superficiality and manipulation. When you live as a true friend, you become a psychological lighthouse, guiding others towards self-discovery. Your empathy, once a magnet for inauthentic connections, now shines as a beacon, showing others how to set boundaries, face their shadows, and live authentically. This isn't just about personal friendships, it's about contributing to a cultural shift toward authenticity and connection. By healing your own wounds, you help dismantle the patterns of narcissism and pretense that pervade society, fostering a world where true relationships thrive. This is the ultimate act of personal growth, where your resilience becomes a gift to humanity. A real-life story, Alex's legacy. Let's return to Alex, the empathic graphic designer whose journey we followed. After mastering Carl Jung's tools, the mirror technique, withdrawal of projection, authentic, yes, and emotional discernment, Alex fully embraced individuation. He was no longer the nice guy who hid his needs to please others. Instead, he became a true friend, living with conscious authenticity. When his friend Sam shared a personal struggle, Alex listened with empathy, but didn't take on Sam's pain. He responded, "That sounds really hard. How can I support you?" This balance of compassion and boundaries deepened their bond, creating a friendship rooted in mutual respect. Alex's transformation had a broader impact. His newfound authenticity inspired his social circle when he set boundaries, like declining last-minute plans to focus on his creative work. Friends like Mia began mirroring his resilience. Mia, once reliant on Alex's endless giving, started respecting his limits and even set her own boundaries in other relationships. Alex's blog about his self-discovery journey grew, attracting readers who were inspired to face their shadows and seek authentic connections. One reader commented, "Your story made me realize I don't have to hide who I am to be liked." Alex was becoming a true friend, not just to individuals but to a community, proving Carl Jung's concept of morphic resonance. By living as his whole self, Alex contributed to the collective unconscious. His healing journey challenged the cultural norms of pretense, encouraging others to embrace their inner strength. He organized a local art event, bringing together people who valued authenticity and found new friends who celebrated his true self. Alex's resilience wasn't just personal, it was a beacon, lighting the way for others to find true friendships. His story shows that empaths don't just survive in authentic relationships, they thrive, creating a legacy of healing and personal growth. The lesson: your authenticity changes the world. Alex's legacy proves that as an empath, you have the power to be a true friend by embodying authentic friendship and healing the collective unconscious. Carl Jung's wisdom shows that your empathy is a gift that, when balanced with inner strength, creates connections that are deep and lasting. By achieving individuation, you become a psychological lighthouse, inspiring others to embrace their authentic selves and build true relationships. This is the heart of transformation. Your resilience not only frees you from inauthentic connections, but also uplifts those around you, creating a world where healing and authenticity prevail. What about you? How has your authenticity changed your friendships? Maybe you've set a boundary that inspired a friend, or your resilience sparked hope in someone else. Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you're becoming a true friend. Stay with us for the outro, where we'll tie it all together and inspire you to keep shining your authentic light. Let's finish strong. Your empathy isn't a weakness. It's the key to building friendships that last a lifetime. Through this journey, guided by Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, you've uncovered why so many friendships feel fake and how to change that forever. From peeling away the persona that hides your true self to facing the shadow that sabotages your connections, you've learned to embrace individuation, the path to becoming your authentic self. With practical tools like the mirror technique, withdrawal of projection, authentic, yes, and emotional discernment, you've discovered how to protect your empathy while attracting true friends who see and value you for who you are. Alex's story showed us that this transformation isn't just personal, it creates a ripple effect, healing the collective unconscious and inspiring others to live authentically. But this is just the beginning. By embracing your inner strength and resilience, you're not only building authentic friendships, you're becoming a true friend who uplifts the world. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." Your authenticity is that spark, creating connections that transcend superficiality and foster personal growth. You're no longer a target for inauthentic people. You're a psychological lighthouse, shining a light for others to find their own self-discovery. Now it's your turn to shine. Which part of this journey hit home for you? Was it recognizing your persona, facing your shadow, or using one of Carl Jung's tools to set boundaries? Share your story in the comments below. Your resilience could inspire someone else to break free from fake friendships. Let's build a community of healing and authenticity together. If this video moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe to Young Psyche Hub. And ring the bell for more Carl Jung-inspired wisdom to fuel your transformation. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your story could be the spark that changes their life. Thank you for joining us now. Go out and create true friendships with your authentic light,